What's up, gurus? It's your boy Pablo, and welcome to Wildcard Wednesday, where every Wednesday we pick on the fly an awesome topic that we're going to talk about. Could be music, movies, books, or TV shows. But today we are going to be talking about one of the greatest stories of all time, that is the Iliad. In particular, I'm going to be celebrating one of my favorite characters in the entire story, and that is the great Diomedes, one of the most important heroes on the Greek side. And in my opinion, he is the dark horse, greatest hero in the entire story. And so, before I dive in and give you a little bit more of the great details about this character and read off my favorite passage from him, his great speech, I do want to give you a brief overview for those of you who do not know what the Iliad is. It is a retelling of the story of the Trojan War by the great bard Homer. And really, the story is about all the Greek kings coming together to make war upon Troy, which is a very prosperous and powerful city across the Aegean Sea, because one of the princes of Troy has stolen the wife of the brother of the supreme king of Greece. And basically, Helen has run off with Paris Alexander, who is, Helen is married to Menelaus, and Menelaus' brother is Agamemnon, and Agamemnon is the overarching king of all of Greece. So all of the Greek kings come together, and they are bound by their honor and an oath to come together to get their revenge by taking Troy. So that's the overview of the story, but we are going to be focusing on my favorite character in the entire story, and that is Diomedes. And before I read to you the passage, the great speech from Diomedes that I love so much, a little bit about Diomedes. He was one of the great kings on the Greek side. He is the king of Argos, a very, important city in Greek mythology and Greek history, ancient Greek history especially. And he is the youngest of all the kings, but he has the most battle experience. So before the Trojan War, he participates in getting vengeance on his father's killers, and that's how he ends up eventually becoming the king of Argos. So not only is he the youngest, but he is a prodigy. He already has a lot of experience by the time he comes to Troy, and he is one of the best soldiers on the entire Greek side. So that's what I love about him, is that he's just like this really amazing character who's just combines practical experience with just having a great mind in general, a very noble mind. So I really like that. Other fun facts: Diomedes is said to have an epic war cry, a really loud war cry when he fights. And also, he's got really sweet armor, and he's got like a nice sword. All of his stuff is branded with a boar and a lion, and he's just a really cool character. So, the other things that I want to mention about Diomedes that I love is that he seems to always be present where all the action is and doing really cool stuff. So he actually fights one of the other legendary figures on the Greek side. He spars with Ajax the Greater, who is said to be this towering figure. And he also Ajax happens to be the cousin of Achilles. And they're basically, Ajax's father is Telamon, and Telamon's brother is Peleus. That's Achilles' father. And they're said to be like towering guys in their own right, in their own day. So just to give you a perspective on Ajax, really Telamon means column, I'm getting into the weeds because I'm such a nerd about Greek mythology, but Ajax was a huge guy, and Diomedes fights Ajax and draws first blood. And remember, Ajax is said to be like pretty much when Achilles dies, he is fighting with Odysseus to become the greatest soldier on the Greek side to win Achilles' armor. So for Diomedes to draw first blood in a sparring match with the arguably the second greatest fighter in the whole Greek side, it's pretty much kind of saying that Diomedes is really the best warrior after Achilles. So I just love that about Diomedes is he's this subtle, the subtle dark horse hero of the whole story. He's just like the most kind of underrated but totally the most badass guy in the whole story. So I love that about him. The other thing that I love about Diomedes, before I read to you my favorite passage from him, his great speech, is that he is present where all the most important actions are going on. So when Odysseus and Diomedes steal the palladium, that is necessary for them to take Troy. And without Diomedes, they don't steal the palladium. And that's a really important moment in the whole story. Also, in the Trojan horse, when they take the actual city, Diomedes is in the Trojan horse. Diomedes is, in short, the most important character in the whole story that's not driving the story. He's just the guy who always seems to be present when the most impactful thing is happening. And he's the voice of reason, and he's the voice of boldness and action. And he backs it up by being one of the best fighters on the entire Greek side. So hopefully you get a sense of why I love this character so much. And now let me read to you his most important speech, really the speech that saves the war effort for the Greeks and, really defines history in terms of everything that, all the stories that are written about the Trojan War, it all hinges on this moment, and Diomedes is the hero. So let me read for you now the great speech by Diomedes. And to set the stage, a little context of what's going on here, Agamemnon, who's the supreme king of all the Greeks, is basically crying. And he's telling the Greeks, hey, tomorrow we're going to sail home because I am so frustrated with the war effort. I've had it. We're losing. The Trojans are closing in on the ships. We need to leave. And the Greeks are really down. They are sad. They're pouting. And the war is almost lost. And then Diomedes steps in to save the day. This is how he saves the day. He says the following: if your own mind is set upon going home, and he's talking to Agamemnon right now, which is like his boss, he says to him, if your own mind is set upon going home, go. The way is open to you. The many ships that followed you from Mycenae stand ranged upon the seashore, but the rest of us stay here till we have sacked Troy. Nay, though these two should turn homeward with their ships, Sthenelaus and myself will fight on till we reach the goal of Iliad. For heaven was with us when we came. The sons of the Achaeans shouted applause at the words of Diomedes. Man, I love that speech. Basically, Diomedes says, Agamemnon, you're the boss. You brought us here. If you want to go home back to Greece empty-handed, you can go. But the rest of the Greeks, let's stay here and let's continue fighting until we achieve our goal. And you know what? If all of the rest of the Greeks go home with Agamemnon, me and my boy are staying right here until we take Troy. this guy is such a great figure in the story. And basically, that speech rouses the hearts of the Greeks, and they resolve to stay, to fight, and to win. So, really, without Diomedes, the Greeks don't win. Without Diomedes, the story is totally different. And that's why I think that Diomedes is the dark horse greatest hero in the entire story of the Trojan War. And again, I love this character so much. There's so much more I could say about him. Of course, we'll do other videos on him and other characters in the entire story and things revolving around that whole saga. But I hope that you enjoyed this short video about one of the great figures in this story. And truly, it's a great book. You know, the Iliad is one of the most important classic works in literature. So that's why we're talking about it. You know, with Wildcard Wednesday, you never know what we're going to pick, but I decided for us to talk about this great book. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, what do you think of Diomedes? What do you think about this section in the story? Do you have a favorite character throughout the whole story? And who is it? Let us know in the comments. And of course, if you like this story, please give this video a like, but also let us know, are there other stories that you'd like us to cover that are, you know, kind of ballpark in this, you know, time period. But I love the Trojan War, and I love reading the Iliad and unpacking it. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here at Ask a Guru TV. That way you can get all of our videos as soon as they drop, and you can stay plugged in because we've got nothing but great stuff coming your way. Don't forget, tomorrow is the Ask a Guru Artist of the Week announcement, and we've got an awesome artist to celebrate tomorrow. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you dig Diomedes. What a great character, right? And we really appreciate you, gurus. Tomorrow's going to be another great segment, so we will see you then. Peace.